So introducing both of the controllers. On my right side, we have the newer controller, the nice looking controller with the RGB lights. It's going to be the PDP Afterglow Wave controller. This controller and the specs of the weights and dimensions I'm going to push right here on screen. And then in my left corner, we're going to have the older school version, the Spectra Infinity. It has been known to be the elite controller killer. Specs and the dimensions and everything will be posted right here so you can see those as well. Now those are just specs of the industry. I will tell you the weight of these controllers. There is significant more weight in the PowerA and the way it feels versus the PDP Afterglow. Now, this doesn't mean it's built better, because anybody's watched my channel for any amount of time now knows how I feel about PowerA controllers and then putting weights in them. I'm not 100% sure if that's what they did with the Spectra Infinity controller, but for sure the Fusion Pro 2 controller has extra just weight put in there for no apparent reason, just to give it that illusion. I thought I said Illuminati. The illusion of the controller feeling heavier than what it really is. Let's start with the front action buttons, which is the X, Y, B, and A. The reason why I wanted to start there is because, well, on the PDP controller, it's just standard. It has a membrane underneath and there's nothing special about them. And on the Spectra Infinity controller, it's the same way. They have a membrane, there's nothing special about them. It is what it is. They both get a point. Moving on to the D-pad on these now. The D-pad on these controllers are a little bit different. On the PDP, you have the dome-like D-pad, and that is to kind of do certain roll-offs and stuff, especially in like fighting games and stuff like that. A lot of people like this. And then your Spectrum Infinity has the traditional cross D-pad. Honestly, now that I'm playing with them more and more, they really feel the same. They are the same. They're probably the same parts and everything underneath. If you like the dome, give the point to them. If you like the cross pattern, give the point to PowerA. But I am going to give the point to the PDP. The reason why I'm going to give the point to the PDP here is because it has an extra functionalities with the D-pad, because this is where you control your audio interface at. So we're moving right into that. So you would hit the function button and hit left and right to control your party chat, game chat ratio, and then up and down to control the overall volume of your headset and stuff. So because of that, I'm going to give it to Spectra or PDP here. And with that being said, the audio control on the Spectrum Infinity is a little bit different. It has the button in the middle at the bottom of the controller where you could just turn the volume up or down and then also mute it, and it lights up too. So there's nothing really special about it. It's okay. They both work. They're both 3.5mm jacks on the bottom of it. No, you cannot use wireless headsets to control your volumes with the controller. It doesn't work like that. All right, moving on to the charging ports on this thing. Now, this is a hard one for me to pick. And you're like, why is you even doing that? Because they're different. They are actually different. On the PDP, you have a USB-C that just kind of sticks in and hangs out. I have complained about this kind of build on multiple controllers now, because there's just nothing there to kind of support the weight of the cable. It's just the port itself, the USB male going into the female itself that's supporting that weight. And I feel like over time, that's just gonna wear out. PowerA has this cradle built in to actually hold the actual base of the plug, and that way you're getting a more support, and it's the controller itself is holding the weight of the cable, not the port itself. So that is a huge advantage there when it comes to that. But the slight problem here is this controller in particular is micro USB, and this just tells you how old this controller is. It was built last year and came out early last year, but pretty much every controller now has USB-C. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this a tie because of the USB-C over here and the micro over here, but the port itself has it because of the support, and it doesn't have it over here. Let's talk about trigger stops. Anybody that wants to buy a pro controller to sweat in Fortnite or Call of Duty or any of the other sweaty games out there, that's pretty much that's pretty much it nowadays. Well, you have Apex, I guess. Yeah, I don't play Apex, but they want trigger stops. You want trigger stops. PDP doesn't have that. It doesn't have that on this controller, and that PowerA Spectra Infinity controller does have that. So with that being said, Spectra Infinity is gonna get the point there. That's crazy, right? You have on, mid, and off. Now let's talk about RGB. A lot of you guys out there like RGB, like myself. I am an RGB fan when it comes to lighting and stuff. You have all kind of different designs and stuff you can do from the Spectrum Infinity, using the back button and cycling through and just setting it up the way you want it, with as well as the PDP. You use the back button and set it up the way you want it as well there. But this is where it gets interesting at. The Spectrum Infinity does not have any kind of software you can download to the PC to control all that, while the PDP does. Now, is it necessary to absolutely have this program? Not really. You can do everything from the controller itself. So when it comes to RGB lighting and stuff, it's honestly what you feel like is the best RGB lights in your personal opinion. If you don't care about the software, then give it to the Spectrum Infinity. If the software is something you care about, having 3 different profiles that you can swap through and stuff like that, then give it to the PDP. Going into the software side of things, yes, Spectrum Infinity don't have it. PDP does have software. I'm not gonna go over everything in the software. We're just gonna give that to the PDP side and move on. So when it comes to the triggers on the Spectrum Infinity controller, they are built just a little bit differently. They have a little bit of a cutout, so where your fingers rest on the side of them, they just naturally sit there. Ergonomically speaking, these feel so much better than the PDP, because the PDP is more squared off on the edges. There's more of a hard edge there. It's not like you're gonna, hurt your finger after a while playing or anything like that. But ergonomically speaking, the Spectrum Infinity takes it all the way there. So the point over here. And as well as the bumpers on these controllers, the Spectrum Infinity has more of a cut off kind of angling down, towards your finger, to where it ergonomically is just gonna place on the controller better. And the PDP, it has more of it actually almost teeters outwards just slightly to where, it's okay, but it doesn't wrap, your finger doesn't wrap around from the knuckle, the first knuckle. I don't know what you call that. What would you guys call that? I know that's a knuckle. What is that called? Comment below. What is that called? But it doesn't wrap around it like it should. You see how there's like a indent there? And then on the PDP side, or on the Spectrum Infinity side, it rests more naturally and ergonomically. It's better. So the Spectrum Infinity is taking it all the way there. Speaking of ergonomically and all that, let's go ahead and talk about that for a second as well. Ergonomically, these controllers are pretty much the same. There is a little bit of a difference on them, the way they're cut out at the bottom and stuff. We're not gonna spend too much time on it. You can see on the screen that they look different, and honestly, just by looking at it, you can tell the Spectrum Infinity has a better ergonomically built controller. So yes, Spectrum Infinity is gonna take the point on that one all day long. Let's talk about the back buttons on this controller. Yes, this controller has back buttons. Actually, both controllers have back buttons. Of course, these are, we call them semi-pro controllers, so they better have back buttons, better have trigger stops too. Oh wait, PDP didn't. Anyways, moving on. The back buttons on the controller, there's 2 on each controller. Your Spectrum Infinity has more of the square-like feature. They're ergonomically placed very nice on the hands, where when you're just kind of wrapping your hands around the controller and stuff, they're there, they're easily pressed and stuff, as well as the PDP. There's no issues there with the PDP. Now, I will say the PDP, the button does have a more of a raise there, like on the end for some reason, where you can actually kind of see into the controller a little bit. It didn't really make sense why those are there. I guess it's there to kind of know that you're pressing down on the button. But on the Spectrum Infinity side of things, they're not like that, and I still know when I'm pressing down on the controller itself. So I'm gonna definitely give this, just ergonomically speaking and the way it's designed, because you can get crumbs and stuff inside there, and it could probably cause problems down the road. I'm gonna give it to Spectrum Infinity. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, Spectrum Infinity seems like it's tearing them up. So on the PDP side of things, the controller itself, we have it hooked up here, and well, we don't really have any stick drift. It's standard factory out of the box. This controller is newer than the Spectrum Infinity that I have. So, you know, this is good. All right, so we're on the Spectrum Infinity controller. Out of the box, well, this is an older controller, guys. So honestly, there could be dust buildup on these potentiometers and stuff that cause this, but it's not as centered as the PDP. I can't really hold that necessarily. It's not too bad, but it is noticeable. So I can't, you know. So when it comes out of sticks on the controller, I have to give it to the PDP just because of the stick drift on the Spectrum Infinity side of things. And you can kind of overclock these sticks on the PDP side of things. To see that, go to the description below and watch that full breakdown of the controller itself. So the score is in, the tally is up. Who won the battle of the controllers, the budget controller? So the PDP had a total of 7 points, where the Spectrum Infinity PowerA controller had a total of 8 points. Almost did 9, but 8. Yeah, this was a super close battle. These controllers, honestly, both of them are pretty good for the price. They're both budget pro-end controllers. Tell me what controller you think should have won. Hit the like button and watch one of these videos that YouTube's recommending you watch next. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace and, well, you know it, love.